Okay, I know you've thought about this at least once. You're digging in the backyard or making a hole in the sand at the beach, and it hits you. If I kept going, would I come out in China? I grew up in New York. We had a backyard in Queens. Now I'm 28. I do research for a living, and let me tell you, that question was never actually stupid. The answer is just way weirder than you'd expect. So what would actually happen if you dug all the way to the Earth's core? This is a physics, geology, and sheer impossibility lesson. First, let's get the scale right. The distance to the center of the Earth is roughly 6,371 kilometers. Driving from New York to Los Angeles is about 4,500 kilometers. So Earth's center is farther than crossing this entire country by road. And you'd be doing it vertically, downward. Humanity went to the moon. We sent rovers to Mars. We cracked quantum physics, but we've only ever drilled 12 kilometers into the Earth. That's Russia's Kola Superdeep borehole, a project started in the 1970s that ran until 1994, and it stopped at 12 kilometers. Why? Because the temperature rose far faster than expected. The rock at that depth was behaving almost like plastic, too hot, too pressurized. Now picture this scene. You are drilling. You have the machines, you have the money. You are determined. The first few kilometers are relatively normal, dirt, rock, more rock, but as you go deeper, the heat builds, roughly 2.5 to 3 degrees Celsius every 100 meters. So at 10 kilometers deep, you are already dealing with temperatures between 250 and 300 degrees Celsius. That is hotter than a kitchen oven. Your equipment starts melting, drill bits bend, and you are still only 0.2% of the way to the center. You keep going, and somewhere around 2,900 kilometers deep, you hit something, the boundary between the lower mantle and the outer core. Here, there is no more rock. Instead, liquid iron and nickel. Temperatures between 4,000 and 5,000 degrees Celsius. Pressure at 1.3 million times the atmospheric pressure at sea level. No known material stays solid under those conditions. No equipment functions. No human exists. But we keep imagining, because being a researcher means thinking past the limits. A study published in 2023 suggested that Earth's inner core might not be fully solid. It may have a softer, more crystal-like structure. This shook a model that had been accepted for decades. We are measuring something 6,000 kilometers away from the surface without ever going there, using only seismic waves. And our model is still changing. That is both humbling and incredible. Speaking of seismic waves, when earthquakes happen, these waves travel through the interior of the Earth. Scientists analyze how they slow down, how they bend, and map the internal structure of the planet. It is essentially an MRI of the Earth, deeper knowledge than any drill has ever reached, coming from seismology. And now, the plot twist. If you somehow reached the center of the Earth, the greatest danger was not heat or pressure. It was the direction of gravity. But as you approach the center, gravity weakens. And at the very center, zero gravity. If you were somehow alive there, you would feel weightless. And if you tried to continue to the other side, you would have to climb back up toward it, because up had changed direction. I read a lot of data. It is literally my job, but sometimes something lands differently. In 1994, when engineers on the Kola project examined the rock brought up from that borehole, they found microscopic fossils at 9 kilometers deep, single-celled organisms, living things that existed there millions of years ago and were perfectly preserved. That hit me hard, because when we look inside the Earth, we are not just seeing rock and heat. We are reading history, layers of it. So, yes, what would happen if you dug to the core? You would almost certainly die. But the journey is so much more interesting than the destination.